Now, in the European Championships, the early scrimmaging is over and we get to the real meat of the tournament, the knockout stage, the last 16. The first game is played tomorrow, which is, this is Friday, tomorrow is Saturday. And there are two games tomorrow. Wales play Denmark, Italy play Austria. And then on Tuesday, of course, the big match of the last 16 will be England at home to Germany at 5 p.m. That game will be at Wembley. France play Switzerland on Monday. And it's a curious draw. One side of it is very tough, and the other side of it, the side England are in, is not so tough at all. And to talk about the tournament and look forward to these games, we're joined now by John Giles, the inimitable John Giles. John, it's been interesting still, and the sort of Portugal-France game the other night was fascinating, and of course Hungary nearly put the Germans out, but the Germans, as they tend to do, survived. Looking at the last 16, there are some fascinating games. No game is more fascinating than England and Germany, and we'll come to that. But tomorrow, there is one really interesting match. Well, two. I mean, Wales and Denmark. I think Wales have a chance of beating them. Do you have a strong opinion on that match, John?
I think Denmark have made a good recovery.
Yes.
Obviously, they went through the dreadful situation with
Ericsson,
the player being with Christian Eriksen being injured, and came back well. Wales the same. Wales have had some not so good and some good. So I think Denmark might have a little bit too much for them.
Right. Yeah. I mean the Welsh sort of hopes rest with Gareth Bale, who's played well, John, unbelievably. He seems to be able to switch it on. He doesn't play for 10 months for Real Madrid. Then he plays for Wales and does well. And Aaron Ramsey, they are the two sort of class players in the Welsh team. They both know where the back of the net is, so you wouldn't by any means discount Wales. But the Danes were very strong in Copenhagen during the week, as you say. You know, they got a great result in front of their own fans. They won't have so many of their own fans tomorrow. The game is actually being played in Amsterdam, but Wales would have a chance, wouldn't they? The other game tomorrow is really fascinating. It's played in London. It's Italy against Austria. Now, Austria aren't bad, John. They have David Alaba at the back. They work pretty hard. They're pretty efficient. But Italy have really been very impressive, haven't they?
A bit of a dark horse. I mean, you don't usually say that about Italy, but when you're talking about the France and England and all the different teams, they're down the list. But and you reminded me during the week, I mean, with Mancini, the manager. I mean, they're over 20 matches unbeaten.
Yep. 20. It's 30, John. Now. Yeah, 30. Yep. Yeah. And they haven't conceded many goals either, John. You know, they really haven't. They look a real team, and they up and back together. They're a unit, and they play high tempo, which is unusual for Italians, isn't it? When they score a goal, they usually want to slow the game down.
Obviously, over a period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got Chiellini, isn't it? Chiellini's out.
Chiellini, he got a hamstring injury in the first half of their second game. Now, he may be back. I don't know if he's out for the tournament or not, but he walked off and it looked to me like he just tweaked it and he said, I'm getting out of here and maybe get fit for this game.
He's a loss to them.
Yeah.
But I thought they were very good, and I've just written a couple of names. Is Verratti back in the team now? I know he was injured and he came back and he was very, very good the other night.
Yes.
Eamon.
He came back and he was the man of the match, John. He was
the man of the match, yeah.
With a strapping on his ankle, and he gets stuck in, as you know, but he's a very good footballer all round, isn't he?
They have the other lad, Locatelli. Is it Locatelli?
Locatelli, yeah, the guy he scored.
He scored 2 goals in one of the big matches for them. I've never heard of him before.
No,
I've never heard of him before.
He plays for a small Italian club, Sassuolo, but he's he's out of contract, so all the big clubs in Europe are looking at him, and he's all action, box to box, and gets a goal as well.
It's early on, Eamon. He hit a long ball out to the outside right wing or the right back, and then got in the box for a tap in from the cross.
That's right.
And he looks a really good player. They had another lad playing him, and I don't know how to present his name. Chiesa.
Yeah,
he was a right winger.
Chiesa. Yeah, very good. Chiesa.
Looks, is he in the team all the time as well?
Yep. He's quick. He's quick, and he's game.
Takes people on.
Yep.
They got it out to, and every time he got the ball, he was going at the left back. He didn't go past him all the time, but he went past him a few times.
Yeah.
And he looked really, really good. I think, they're a bit of a dark horse, Italy. There's no doubt about that, Eamon. They'll certainly be up and about when it comes to the latter stages, I think.
If both goes forward, they play France in the semi-final.
Yeah.
And that would be a really interesting game. But you'd expect them to beat Austria, would you, John? Right.
Very surprised if they don't beat Austria. I mean, they have to beat them and then get in among the big boys, the real big boys, later on.
Well,
definitely, yeah.
On Sunday, I suppose there's two games. Netherlands play Czech Republic. I couldn't separate them, to be honest with you. But the other big game on Sunday at 8 o'clock is Belgium-Portugal. Now, that is a game, John, isn't it? Two big...
I mean, with the Netherlands. I think the Netherlands have crept in there, then. They've won a good few matches, They'll be under the radar, as they say. But I think they're a danger. I think they'll beat...
Really? I
really fancy them.
Yeah. I thought the Czechs did okay against England the other night. They're sturdy, they're well set up, and I saw the Netherlands twice. They gave up a 2-goal lead in their first game against Ukraine. Ukraine made it 2-2 with about 10 minutes to go, and then they nicked a winner. Wijnaldum has been brilliant. He scored 3 goals. He's captain of the team. He's an immense player, John, isn't he?
Be an outstanding player for years, Eamon.
Yeah.
I mean, he started in England in Newcastle, didn't he?
He did, yeah, before he went to Liverpool.
He scored goals, and then he's 5 or 6 years at Liverpool.
Yeah.
He was part of all the successes that they've been involved in, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a terrific player. Terrific player.
He was out of contract. He was supposed to go to Barcelona. In fact, PSG offered him double the wages, and he's gone to PSG on about 600 grand a week, so don't worry about him. But Belgium, Portugal, John. Now, you've seen Belgium. Of course, they have Lukaku up front, who I rate, and he's scoring goals. They have De Bruyne, who came on and I believe changed the game the other night. You saw the game, I didn't. What do you think? What do you make of Belgium? Eden Hazard does not look... He's a shadow of the player that was at Chelsea.
Man, it was an amazing game. I mean, De Bruyne didn't play in the first half against Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark should have been 3 up, by half time.
Right.
Belgium were terrible.
Yeah.
And they were giving them a right. They didn't score. They didn't finish them off. They went 1 up, but they should have been 3 up.
Yeah.
Belgium were terrible. Then the second half, they brought De Bruyne on, and a little bit later on, Hazard.
Yeah. And
changed again. De Bruyne, to be fair to him, now I've been critical of him at times. Changed the game totally.
Yeah.
Scored it, made a goal, brilliant pass to make a goal, and then scored a very good goal himself.
Right.
And they ran out easy winners in the end. 2-1. They could have been 4-1 into finish. So it made a huge difference, and I think they've marched on from there. As you said, they've got some very good players, Belgium, but they don't always do what's needed to be done. Lukaku, again, is doing his stuff. But De Bruyne made a big, big difference to them. And Hazard came on, Eamon.
Yeah.
And looked like his old self.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Right.
Along with his brother. His brother scored the other goal in that particular match.
Torgan, yeah.
So from looking like awful, I thought, this is Belgian team are gone. Totally changed in the second half. So they're in there again, Eamon, I would imagine.
Now they got to play Portugal, John. And Portugal had a bad experience when they played Germany, but they put it up to France, and they've got Ronaldo. The one guy who got dropped, and we keep coming back to this, is Fernandes. Did nothing in the first 2 games, and the coach left him out for their last game. and he brought him on actually at half time, but he hasn't done anything, John. Again, when he brought him on against France, but he did nothing, John. He disappears. What is it?
This match, he never got a kick at the ball. He never got a kick at the ball. And
No.
this is a fellow that, as we know, at Manchester United all year, has dominated in many games. He just wasn't in it.
Player of the year for the last 2 years. Yeah.
Amazed at him, and then he was dropped. He was dropped for the last match, and
Yes,
it's
that's right.
amazing,
Yeah.
really. I mean, you wouldn't know what's going on there, Eamon, in the thing. You know, I mean, it could possibly be the Ronaldo influence. It could be mightn't like him.
Yes.
Mightn't get on with him. You know, with all the publicity he's had. Now, I'm not. I don't want to be unfair to Ronaldo. I'm only assuming certain things, Eamon, because for him to look such a player playing for Portugal to the one that we saw playing for Manchester United was incredible.
Yeah.
And then to be left out of the team.
Yeah, well, now Portugal have some really good players, John. They have Jota, who's didn't have a good game first match, but has played really well. They've got Bernardo Silva. They have Ronaldo, as you pointed out. They have Diaz from Manchester City, central defender, plays alongside Pepe. They have Moutinho, who's a veteran now, but a very respected and very good player. They're a good team, John. I wouldn't be putting a heap of money.
Portugal? Oh no, you wouldn't. You would no. I wouldn't. I wouldn't doubt that in any way.
On Belgium, I wouldn't be putting a heap of money. Yeah,
because Belgium on the day can do it as well.
Right.
But and Portugal amazing really in the early stages, as we've seen. I mean, they got a right hiding against Germany.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
A right hiding against Germany.
Yeah.
And then Germany go in that group, with the group of death, as we're calling it.
Yeah.
Some amazing results in the game.
Yeah.
Going into the German game after Germany hadn't played well against France, I thought Portugal would take these guys today.
Yes. So did I.
Hammer them, so it's very inconsistent in that particular group.
Yeah.
But it'll be a fascinating match, Eamon. I think Belgium and Portugal will be a fascinating match.
Yes, well, that's on 8 p.m. on Sunday night. Now, John, Monday, two good games, really. Croatia, Spain, John.
Yeah.
Little Modric, they killed Scotland, and Modric did most of the damage. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
And Spain beat Slovakia 5-0, but they'd been having a nightmare. I saw their games. They passed the ball, but they can't score. Morata's having a nightmare. He missed a penalty even in the game. But they eventually got their act together and scored some goals. But I don't fancy them, John. They look a weak team by the standards Spain have set for themselves over the last 15, 20 years. This is a weak side. The coach, Luis Enrique, won the Champions League with Barcelona. Has been a real outstanding football man, but his team are misfiring. Now 5-0 against Slovakia, will that pick them up enough? Because I think Croatia is still decent. They're experienced.
And I mean, very, very disappointing. I mean, goalkeeper, it was a Newcastle goalkeeper, had a nightmare. I mean, now they deserve to win it, but I don't think they didn't. The only consolation I see for them in the long run, they've got this lad Pedri, who plays with
he's a young lad from Barcelona. Yeah,
he's only 18. I mean, he looks the real McCoy.
Yeah,
but
right.
The team don't look good. I'd fancy Croatia to beat them. I mean,
yes, so would I.
And mainly because of Modric. Modric is absolutely brilliant. Did you see him playing the other night against Scotland?
I did against Scotland.
Scored a great goal. Ran the game.
Yeah.
I mean, even against England when they were outclassed, he still did a bit to stop them being humiliated. Really on that particular day, he's great. He's a great lad, and I unless Spain can pick it up, I would fancy Croatia to do them.
Croatia. Now, also on Monday night, France, Switzerland. John, I think we both think Switzerland are a team of chances. Xhaka, Shaqiri, overweight. They're nothing. They're the team that actually in the first match in their first match of the tournament and Italy's first match. Italy destroyed them 3-0. They never tried a leg, John. Would you fancy France? You fancy France?
I don't fancy Switzerland against anybody,
No.
to be quite honest. Jacques is the captain.
No. Yep.
So I think France will, I'd say 2-3-0 on that one.
Okay, that's 8 o'clock on Monday night. Just on France, John, Paul Pogba, we're both not admirers of him. He's been very, very good. He was very, very good the other night against Portugal. Really good. He played a beautiful through ball for Mbappe in the first half, which Mbappe didn't score from. Keeper Patricio made a good save. Then he played a ball down the line for Benzema. It was outstanding. And there was a sense, and there is a sense, there's no doubt about it, in the last World Cup, in the World Cup they won in 2018, he is a different player. He's more confident when he plays for France. He's more involved in the game. And he just plays better than he does for Manchester United. Now, you are the best judge I've ever met. Have you any idea why?
Kante.
Right.
Kante.
Okay, Kante does the donkey work. Yeah. Yes.
He does all the things that Pogba doesn't do.
Yes.
Pogba is a brilliant passer of the ball, and pick out a pass, and as you say, he can be absolutely outstanding in what he does in the passes he made the other day.
Yep.
Nobody else actually can make the passes that he makes. But he has to get on the ball.
Yes.
He has to get it. He has to have somebody doing the donkey work. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to Kante. But Kante doing all the things he does. Like Kante can't produce the passes that Pogba produces.
No.
But Pogba, with his approach to the game, is the stuff that Kante does. He couldn't be bothered doing. He doesn't think he has to do it. He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why he's inconsistent in the way he plays. If you go look at Manchester United, he doesn't have a Kante there. He has a Fernandes there.
No.
Who doesn't do the crafty work. There's nobody does as well as what Kante does, what he does, what he specialises in. And I think that's the huge difference to him.
Right. That's interesting. And just one other instance, when France played Germany in the opening match, the pass that caused Hummels to score an own goal, it was the winning goal as it happens. France beat them 1-0 in Munich. That pass came from Pogba as well, outside of his right foot, John. Curled it over the fullback's head, balls crossed in, Hummels put it in. If he hadn't have put it in, Mbappe would have had to tap in. So this is... It's really fascinating, isn't it, to see Pogba, because you don't like to be critical of players, and we're not critical ever just for the sake of being critical. Genuinely, he doesn't play to this level for Manchester United at all, does he? Rarely.
He produces passes now and again, but he doesn't have the mentality, Eamon, to do what Kante does. And Kante doesn't have the ability to do what Pogba can do. So it's a good match.
Right. It's a perfect match.
In that particular way. It's a perfect match. Yeah, there's nobody better than Kante doing what he does. And nobody can produce the passes that Pogba can produce if and when he gets the ball in the right position. Message
to Manchester United fans, if you can persuade the Glaziers to buy Kante, then you might have a chance of contending for the Premier League.
I mean, I'd have no doubt about it. We know what Kante can do. And again, you see, when you are talking about a team, you get people who can do things, people can't do things, and you get a balance.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Sometimes midfield player, one is wins the ball, the other guy uses the ball well, and I think that's a perfect example with Manchester United and Pogba and France with Kante in it. That's the way I would read it anyway.
Right. Okay, that's very interesting. Now, John, Tuesday, big day for English football. England play Germany at 5 o'clock at Wembley. And I know when you were on our podcast last week, you tipped Germany to win the tournament. I didn't agree with you. I mean, you didn't. It wasn't a heavy endorsement. It was a tentative selection, so we say. But Pardon? You were made to, were you?
Upon by Mr. Dunphy.
Right.
I said, "Look, Eamon, it's 280." He said, "Well, go on, just give us a guess at it." So
Okay.
that's why you walked me into it. So I didn't want to say it.
Okay.
But
I'll have to walk you out of it now. Then.
Okay.
No, but tell me how they're going to beat England. They always beat England, don't they?
Well, anybody's capable of beating England, Eamon. Right?
Let's look at England first, John.
Gareth Southgate.
Yes, that's the answer. No, you had an interesting conversation the other night when we were watching England, and the way they scored the first goal with Saka getting the ball deep, running at people, taking them on, and he split the defence in front of him wide open, and it was the Czech Republic, obviously, and Saka was the difference. And again, Sterling got in behind the defence and scored the goal.
No, I mean, just we'll go back on that. Can I just interrupt you there? Saka got into a situation. He beat a couple of players and got the ball out to Grealish.
That's right.
On the left wing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Grealish beat his man, crossed the back post, and Sterling come in and scored.
That's right.
Now, what we were talking about, I couldn't make it out afterwards. Grealish, after a few minutes of that, disappeared from the left wing.
Yes.
Disappeared. If you watch the match again, he never played on the left wing for the rest of the game.
That's the conversation we were having, and Sterling went out to the left wing.
No, Sterling didn't even go out to the left wing. I mean, they had nobody on the left wing. That was the point I was trying to make to you the other night. In other words, they had a balance. They had the Saka on the right, which is fair enough. Grealish on the left. Right, they scored a goal from it. Yeah. From those particular positions. Yeah. And then Grealish disappears from the left wing. Yeah. For the rest of the game. And there was no balance to the team. And the point I'm making, well, did Southgate tell him to do that, which is nonsense? Yeah. Or did he do it on his own? Yeah. And wasn't told about it? Yeah. So that's lack of management, Eamon. Yes. This is what I doubt England against Germany. I'd probably put a few bob on Germany, because if Southgate, I mean, first of all, I'm reading the papers this morning, and none of the papers have a clue what the England team is going to be. They're talking about they're going to play three at the back now. Sorry, Eamon.
How could you have a clue? How could you have a clue? Because he makes
you couldn't.
changes.
But the point I'm making is I don't think Southgate has a clue what the team is going to be. Right. Right. They're on about playing three at the back and doing this and making changes, which he has made 5 changes during the game. Right? Yeah. Now, if you're he's been managing the team for, I think, about 5 years now, Eamon. Yes. And you have to know your team, and you have to be playing your team as much as you possibly can, particularly in the lead up to the tournament itself. Yes. I haven't seen one situation in Southgate where the team has been the same. Right. It's impossible to do it, Eamon. Once you're making that many changes, in my opinion, how the managers do their stuff, you see the team play, they do something wrong, you put it right. Then you put this right, you put that right. That's what you do. But if you're changing the team all the time, like he has, even in this tournament, you can't be improving the team, Eamon. So you're on a wing and a prayer. No. Like and that's what England have a lot of good young players, as we know. Yes. But they need to be managed as well. Now, it's possible that he could put a team out and say, well, that's worked tonight. You don't know, Eamon. I think he has the players, but they need to be managed. Right. And I don't think that's happening. And the Germans will have Tony Kroos running the show in midfield. I mean, he is a very good player, John, isn't he, Kroos? Never wastes the ball. His distribution of it is really good. I know you were taken with Serge Gnabry. He's the Bayern Munich forward. He started as a centre forward. They have Timo Werner, but they haven't played him too much. They have Joshua Kimmich. Yeah. He can play right back. He can play right side midfield. He's a very good player, John. And they have this lad, Robin Gosens. He plays for Atalanta. And I'd never heard of him before the tournament, but he's had outstanding games. He's playing as a left wing back. So they get forward on the flanks and they get crosses in. They have, of course, they've got Müller as well. He knows where the goals are. He scored a lot of goals. He's played 100 times for Germany. I think he's injured. Muller, I think
Is he?
so. I read that in the paper the other day, yeah.
Okay, well, they'll miss him then.
I think so, yeah.
And they have this guy, Goretzka, who scored the key goal the other night that got them into the knockout stage. Now, I suppose your theory, and I'd be inclined to share it, is that with this coach, Gareth Southgate, they'll find a way to lose. And if you've no idea...
The way he's gone, the way he's gone, he's finding it. If you don't have a team that you know, this is my team going into a tournament, and you play them as much as you possibly can, and this is only my take on it, that's what you do, because teams make mistakes, you put it right. If you change the take, maybe put 3 or 4 changes in the team, you're starting from scratch all the time. So all the work that you should be doing over 5 years to know exactly who is your best team. There might be a little one here one day where you're doubtful about, and you're playing and getting the habits that you want them to have.
Yeah.
Whether it be corner kicks, free kicks, throw-ins, all the very million things that football is made up of. You can't do that if you're changing the team from one match to the next.
Right.
I don't see the Germans doing that, do you?
No, I don't. And he's made big changes. I mean, Trippier has started a right fullback, Trippier is, all his career really. And he was chosen to play left back in the first game against Croatia. They won the game. He hasn't been seen since. Luke Shaw was back where he should be, playing left back for the next game. And he, like Saka, would never have been expected to play the other night. All of a sudden, he's in the team. And, of course, we've no idea, nobody has any idea of the team he'll field on Tuesday. But it'd certainly be a must-watch, John.
Oh, definitely, Eamon. I mean, you can get managers doing what he's doing, Eamon. Like I say, football is a funny game. And it comes off
now and again,
but it doesn't come off as much as being ready and ready to do it and being organised and say, this is my best team, this is what I do, and basically you play them most of the time. Obviously, in the build up to this big competition, you put players in, you have a look at them for one match, but you have to know your team, you have to know what you want from the team, they have to know what's expected from them, and football is made up of a million things. Getting for throw-ins, corner kicks. You keep changing the team all the time, Eamon.
Right.
You don't get that.
No. And
you don't get that.
No.
It can happen, but it's most unusual.
Okay. And so you're sticking with the Germans, and
yes.
The other game I haven't mentioned it, but I should. It's not much of a game. Sweden, Ukraine. Sweden should beat Ukraine. I've seen them, John. They're not great at all, and Sweden are just dogged, organised. Just a final point I'd like to put to you, John, and it's about the Irish team and the view here that we don't have players to be good, that we're not good enough to be, in these tournaments and stuff. If you look at the last 16 teams that are in the last 16, I think Ireland could reasonably look at the Danish team, the Austrian team, the Czech Republic team,
Turkey,
Turkey. Well, Turkey were in the tournament. They haven't made the last 16. They could certainly look at Switzerland, Sweden, and Ukraine.
They qualified.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we shouldn't be putting the poor mouth on. And I know Stephen Kenny's not doing that, but an awful lot of people who are assessing Ireland. Just give Stephen a bit of time. We have got players, young players in particular, who could play at this level and could qualify for the last 16 at this level. Because if you look at the 16 nations that are in it, there's only 4 or 5 that you'd really say, well, no, we can't go there. But there's no reason to think that you couldn't be in the last 16, is there?
No. But Eamon, the only way you get into the last 16 is to win matches.
Yep.
We haven't done that, unfortunately. I don't want to be hard on Stephen either, I mean, I know we didn't play against, we played against the teams that we could have beaten, and we didn't do it.
Well,
you qualify in third spot, Eamon. I know what you're saying. Let's look at the players that we see there, and I think the doubt and if we don't have the players, that's been the mantra. We don't have the players. And I think, well, if you look at the players that we have in relation to some of the teams that have qualified, we're just as good.
We have the players. Yeah, well, I mean, Hungary, we drew with Hungary a few weeks ago. They nearly knocked Germany out the other night, and they took a point off France. Slovakia, who were beaten 5-0 by Spain, but they did qualify for the tournament. We only lost to them in the Nations League on a penalty shootout. So we've got to stop knocking ourselves. Now, I know it's not very relevant to what's going to take place over the next couple of weeks, but I'll give you a second chance then to get out of your little hole you've dug yourself with Germany. Although I hope they win. Yeah. I must say I hope they win on Tuesday night. France,
you're talking about the thing I said when I was made to say it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm giving you a chance now to back out of it. And I'm putting it to you that although, and I want to ask you about this anyway, when you look at France, look at Mbappe, what have you made of him? Benzema got the 2 goals the other night. They've got Griezmann, and they've got, of course, Pogba and Kante in midfield. They really have more than enough talent to win this tournament, don't they, John?
Oh, they definitely do, Eamon. It's the early stages. I think in one of the matches particularly, they didn't play. 1 or 2 of the matches didn't play as well as I expected them to play.
Yes,
but that's a tournament. You know, that's what happens. You qualify, and they did qualify. They qualified well for the competition, and then they grow into it from there. Eamon.
Right.
I think they have the players. I think they have the players to win it.
Yeah.
But you have to see them. I mean, when we were talking last week, and I know we were joking about, give me a team and that, but you have to see them for 2, 3, maybe even 4 matches, Eamon, where they grow into the tournament.
Yes.
You know, because you get a team early on, and a bit of a fluke, they get a win, it can happen, and then sometimes they don't even qualify. That happens in a tournament like this.
Yeah.
So I think France and the top teams,
right,
whether it be Italy or that, can grow in this competition, and I've no doubt that France will get better in this competition.
Yeah. What do you make of Mbappe, John?
Well, I like him, Eamon. Yeah. I think he's a type of lad he plays on the edge, as they say.
Yes.
There's very little room for error in his game.
Yes.
Because he runs a lot with the ball. He dribbles more than most people I've seen in the competition so far.
Yes.
And in previous games. And when you're playing at that level, there's more risk for him not to play well than most other players who get it and give it.
Yes.
You know, he depends all the time on beating players at high speed, scoring good goals, Eamon.
Doing something special,
that's not going to happen all the time.
Right.
No, you have to live with him. You have to live with him. And I guarantee, well, I won't guarantee, I would think before this competition is over, he will be the player that we expected him to be.
Okay. That's fascinating, John, as always, to talk to you. And we're very grateful indeed. That's the great John Giles, the best judge of football in the world. And we're lucky to have him on the stand. And even if Germany don't win the Euros, we're going to keep him on the stand. Thanks, John.
What a relief, Eamon. What a relief.
Thanks very much to John Giles.